Rabbit Hole Roundup, episode 84, J. Cole's Blueprint to Achieve Your Dreams. Also, just so you guys know, August 17th, aka yesterday at the time that this video comes out, was actually my birthday. I just turned 29 years young, so feel free to drop some extra love in the comments and support in honor of that. You guys can check out my whole reflection post all over my social media. So guys, in today's edition of the Rabbit Hole Roundup, I have a bunch of awesome TikTok clips and posts, unlike last week, which was of course more pop culture opinions and sports takes. So I'm going to be talking about a powerful J. Cole interview, where as far as I see it, he gave away the master plan and the path to manifesting your wildest dreams. And this is something I think everyone can use. So that's going to be a clip later on in the episode. I started the episode with a clip about why do we talk about trauma so much, and is this actually a bad way to deal with mental health challenges?
It all started when I was born.
I have my thoughts. Then I have a clip coming from that cute little blob on social media, Lennie, and they tell us about collecting stars and building awesome positive memories so that this way, before you know it, you're smiling and you're appreciating all the little things in your life. Then I have a really great post coming from the Optimist on TikTok, which gives a really great perspective shift when it comes to the things that other people actually remember about us. And hint, it's not your accomplishments. Then I have a clip about the most powerful line coming from the TV show The Office.
No, God!
And in doing so, I discuss ways to amplify our enjoyment when it comes to creating amazing memories. And finally, I'll be giving this week's sports recap, as long as I have the time to at the end of the weekend. Anyways, without further ado, let's dive deeper now. Rabbit hole time, let's go.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jared Weiss. For you guys to know that must mean not subscribe to the channel, so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts in the video. Follow me on every platform, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through It by Jared Weiss. All links purchased on my website with jaredbryanweiss.com. That's JAREDRYANWEASS.com. So buy the book and make sure to check out all the awesome shirts in there as well. Every shirt is 100% organic cotton. Every shirt is its own motivational saying, so it's words in it. So what could be better than all that? Anyways, any support at all, as I'm always saying, is very much appreciated. So let's dive deeper into this rabbit hole now. So the first clip I'm going to be sharing is coming from someone named Brian Lubin, and he suggests that maybe we talk about trauma too much, and this is actually hurting our mental health. Let's watch together.
How about, instead of us talking about our traumas 24/7, we just stop? Where focus goes, energy flows. And if all you're thinking about is your trauma, you're going to just reinforce that.
I actually read that there was a fork in terms of school of thought of how to deal with trauma. And one of them was the direction that we ended up going, which is okay, you need to unpack your trauma, spend time figuring out what your inner child struggled with, etc. And the other path encouraged forward thinking, like you're talking about. And it was no, focus on the person you want to become and leveraging your strengths, even if your strengths were born out of trauma. Studies have shown that people actually find more success in reducing their anxiety and stress levels when they focus on the future and leveraging their strengths, not just boxing up and ignoring what happened to them, but by accepting what happened to them, but focusing on how they actually leverage it and what they do with it.
So this is a very interesting perspective. I'm not going to say I'm with this completely 1000%, but there is a lot of truth to take away from this. So first up, I'm someone who does believe strongly in talking to someone and talking out whenever something is bothering me. Being someone who is very sensitive, I can't hold in my thoughts and feelings when something's going on in my life. I'm someone who wears my heart on my sleeve, and I actually view this as a strength. So having someone who you know that you can trust to respond in a kind, thoughtful manner, and who's always going to be very supportive of you, or even just having a good, genuine listener, I believe is essential. Now having said that, this guy is totally right when it comes to the concept of focus goes where energy flows. In other words, if your focus is all about everything wrong in your life and everything wrong in the world 100% of the time, how do you expect to overcome that?
There's nothing wrong with you. I'm the one who's dying. And God's gonna give me a terminal disease.
And this is where, as I've spoken about in the past, it can become very problematic to watch content where people are only complaining or saying the challenges that they're going through without ever giving a solution or a path out. And sometimes these posts blow up because misery loves company. So it's one thing to be real and relatable and to open up about your struggles, which is something I'm all for, because I do think that is amazing. But when you become overly consumed with your struggles and under-focused on solutions and how you're actually getting through them, your whole life will then become trauma, and then you're going to start attracting more of that too as like its own self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like also, as I've said in the past, if you search out bad news,
It's raining sideways!
Sounds rough, Ollie.
or only watch that, you're going to start thinking to yourself like, that's all there is out there. And you're actually going to start seeing more of that. But there is a ton of great news out there too, whether in the world or with your life. So make sure that like your time and focus isn't only on everything wrong and negative, but also actively seek out reasons to be happy and positive. You will find them. It's not about ignoring the bad, but it's being able to shift to healing and growth. And this leads me perfectly into a strategy or a thought process like when it comes to finding reasons to be happy and positive. So this comes from that cute little blob on social media, Lennie, and this clip is about collecting the stars. Let's watch together.
Hi! It can get dark out here, and a little sad and a little scary, but I like to do this thing where I think of every beautiful, cute, sweet, maybe seemingly insignificant moment I've ever had, and I imagine that each one of those moments is a star. And every day, I'm putting together these cute little constellations. When I eat a bangin' dessert, or when someone does something kind, or when something unexpectedly cool happens. And yes, the dark is still there. And yes, I'll never get rid of it completely, but the darkness is what makes the glow so bright. If you collect your stars, and if you pay attention to your sky, the next time you look up, it won't just be darkness. It'll be art. I love you so much. I know it's hard out there, but you got this. I promise. Bye!
How can you not smile from that little guy? So, as the cute and inspiring little Bob just said, when you find good things to be happy about, it won't make the darkness go away completely, because of course there's always going to be things that you can be upset about, and there will always be more challenges on your life journey. But if you accumulate enough of these positive moments and keep on making more awesome memories, before you know it, your inner life is going to be beautiful.
This little part is called happiness.
And this doesn't mean like every moment is happy or easy, but as Lennie just said, the darkness will make the glow shine brighter. So every time you're able to be grateful for all the little things, you're actually painting your own masterpiece. And this doesn't only have to be whenever you have grand massive plans, or only whenever the big things happen, but maybe you saw a friend today. Someone gave you a nice compliment. You gave someone else an awesome compliment and made that person smile. Maybe you had a delicious meal. You listened to your favorite song over and over again. You had a great workout today. Before you know it, you're smiling, and the stress in your life feels a little bit lighter, and you're able to see the whole picture, not just the dark parts. Next, I'm going to be reading a post coming from The Optimist on TikTok, and this post gave a super interesting perspective that I really want to share with you guys. So, it says, questions to realize what truly matters in life. I want you to pause for a second and reflect on life. Take a minute to answer the following questions. 1. Name the 5 wealthiest people in the world. 2. Name 5 presidents, prime ministers. 3. Name 5 gold medalists from the 2024 Olympics. 4. Name 5 people who have won the Nobel or Pulitzer Prize. 5. Name the last half dozen Oscar Award winners for Best Actor and Actress. Hard, right? The point is none of us remember the headliners of yesterday. These are no second-rate achievers. They are the best in their fields, but the applause dies. Awards tarnish, achievements are forgotten, accolades and certificates are buried with their owners. Now try this one. 1. List a few teachers who aided your journey through school. 2. Name 3 friends who've helped you through a difficult time. 3. Name 5 people who've taught you something worthwhile. 4. Think of a few people who've made you feel appreciated and special. 5. Think of 5 people who you enjoy spending time with. This feels different, doesn't it? The people who make a difference in your life are not the ones with the most credentials, the most money, or the most awards. They simply are the ones who care the most. Consider the leaders who truly inspire. They're the ones who've touched us along the way. The message is crystal clear. It calls us to focus on what truly matters: relationships, mentorship, and kindness. Very powerful. So, none of us remember the headlines from yesterday. How crazy is that to think about? I mean, like, honestly, I was barely able to answer some of those first questions. And these are like the best in their fields. So these are things that so many people think are important. Status. Who's the most famous? Who's the most popular? And of course, in this case, I'm not saying that like any of those accomplishments are bad in any way. That's amazing. And like striving to be the best is of course what I'm all about.
If you want to be the best, you gotta take out the best.
But as the post said, a lot of those things don't last and aren't as memorable to everyone else as we all think. They are of course great for us. And like I said, we should be striving for greatness. But if we're talking about impact, those next few questions mean a whole lot more. So I want to repeat what one of those slides said. The people in your life who make a difference are not the ones with the most credentials, the most money, or the most awards. They are simply the ones who care the most.
You
So, how you treat people will always matter a million times more than what you do. It's who you are and the principles that you live your life by, how you make others feel when they're around you. That impact can be massive, and anyone else out there who tries to brag to you, or who won't shut up about like all their accomplishments, or the people who only value you for what you have possession-wise and money-wise, or who only are around whenever you're balling out. These are shallow people and are fair weather friends, and people who I believe aren't worth having in our lives. Now, this leads me perfectly into the next clip, which is coming from comedian Jim Brewer actually, but he gives a very powerful statement here. So let's watch together.
Stop thinking you're a nobody. Whoever you are, stop saying, well, I'm just a nobody. You're a somebody and then some. Because one human being can change the whole world for the better, as long as they don't care who gets the credit. I walk down the street, someone's kind to me, I take that kindness, I throw it out in this direction, I touch this person, they're on a platform, it goes far and wide. And that all started from the person that said they're a nobody. A nobody can save a life and you don't even know you're saving a life. Don't ever say you're a nobody, because everyone that is born in this world is a somebody, and you do have a meaning here, and you cannot allow others to take that out of you. You mean more to this world. We need you more in this world, but stop measuring on what other people have and what you think you're supposed to have.
He is absolutely 1,000% right. You are not a nobody.
Nobody loved me when I was nobody.
Something that's like always been a pet peeve of mine is that it pisses me off whenever people say things like, oh, we can never do that. People like us can't do those things. We're not capable of that. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to be grouped into your circle of mediocrity. If you want to accept all these artificial limitations and want to say all the reasons why you're not special, fine, but that's on you. On the other hand, if you want to work for something, believe in yourself, and won't quit until you reach your goals, then come on, join me. You are my people. The crabs in the bucket story is real. When you try to make more of yourself, others who've chosen to place limits on themselves will become threatened and will immediately try to pull you back down to their level. And anyone who's had big dreams, or who puts out content, or who does something unconventional knows this. But you are special. All of us are. I'm not saying that like to be cliche, but those dreams that you have in your head are there for a reason. Don't shut them up. You can make a difference no matter how small, because every time you take one positive action, this could have a ripple effect. As Jim just said, if you're okay with not taking the credit, you can change the world. It's like if I put a smile on someone's face, tell them how great they are and like tell them like how much I believe in them, or if my content helps someone. That person then takes that positivity into their next interaction. That person then helps 5 more people, and before you know it, you're helping millions just with one simple positive interaction. You are special, you are powerful, you have a purpose, and don't let anyone out there convince you otherwise. Now next up I have a J. Cole clip which is super powerful in talking about the blueprint for achieving your dreams, and he brings up a bunch of great points like I want to address.
Who do you see yourself as? And there's no right or wrong answer. Yeah. Clarify and define your vision for yourself in the highest possible way that you can see it. Do you want to be a 12-time All-Star? Yeah. Do you want to be a league MVP? Do you want to be setting 3-point shooting record? Be as specific and see yourself as high as you possibly can, right? That's your first job, is to see it as high as you can see it. Be delusional even, to the point where to where your mind, right at the apex of what your mind believes is possible, then you push past that even a little bit and define it. And then number 2 is like, believe it. You know what I mean? Like see it all the time and believe it, and whatever you gotta do to protect that belief. My version of protecting that belief was I wasn't sharing this. I wasn't telling my mom. She knew I rap. She knew I did music. I'm not even gonna give my own mother the chance to try to bring me back down to reality. It's not gonna happen. Work towards it. You have to do the work, and because you love it, it's not always gonna feel like work, but sometimes it is.
So he brings up a few really great, powerful points like I want to address. First up, clarify and define what you see yourself as. Get super clear on that vision and set those sights high, and don't be afraid to push those limits and push those boundaries. This, I believe, is like the first step in manifestation. And of course, there are going to be more steps to getting there and reaching that point, and there are obstacles, but this can be like your own internal GPS. Because how can you know where you're going if you don't ever set the intention? So having massive goals and establishing your higher purpose is step 1. Love it. Then it says believe it for yourself and see it all the time. This is why I often end my morning meditations with some time for visualization. Visualize all my goals coming true. How would that feel? And this doesn't mean taking away from where I'm at right now, because of course you don't want to get away from appreciating the moment, but as I've heard so often, your mind doesn't know the difference between what's really happening versus what you're seeing in your mind. So if you get really good at this, it's almost as if like you're already there. So then you've actually brought that person who's able to achieve those dreams into the picture. So now it's just like a matter of time and a question of when, not if. Then he also says another key, which is protecting that belief. I have a clip that came from a recent Jared and James channel video where I spoke about this exactly. Be very careful who you tell your goals and dreams to. When I was in high school, I thought like everyone out there would be as excited for me as I was about my own goals. But I got laughed at so many times.
What an idiot!
And of course it didn't stop me. But telling your dreams to the wrong people can definitely damage your self-esteem and your confidence. So like protect that dream very strongly and then work on it. Be so disciplined even on days when you're not motivated and of course on days when you are. So very wise words, J. Cole. Couldn't have said it any better myself. Now finally in this week's episode, before I get into the whole sports recap for the week, I have an unexpected clip coming from the TV show The Office, and this clip relates to the most powerful line ever from an Office episode, and this is like a powerful reminder for all of us.
Your incredible line from season 9.
I think about that line all the time.
Yeah, it's like one of the wisest, truest lines in the history of television.
It's all Greg Daniels, and I just was a vessel. I wish there was some way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them. It is such a poignant reminder that you're always in them, to just take stock. Yeah. Because this moment might be some serious good old days.
Yeah, and those 9 years were 100%.
Sure.
And that's one of my great regrets in life. I have a few regrets. I've made a ton of mistakes, but few regrets. Up here, I knew this was a great gig. I'm like, these people are amazing. The scripts are incredible. Audiences love the show. It's very funny. It's very smart. I get to play this incredible, memorable character. I knew beloved, iconic character.
Come on. Dwight Schrute is a legend.
Andy Bernard.
Well,
iconic. I knew it up here. I knew it cerebrally, but I really wish I had just spent more time just being like, this is it. It just doesn't get better than this. As I was going back, I was remembering how much we improvised the Cornell stuff. Yeah. And we had so much stuff of you hitting me with the Prius and stuff, and we just would just kind of go, and these scenes are classic. I could have just kind of like...
But what would that have looked like? Like, what would you have done or felt different?
More gratitude.
Now, I was never really a huge fan of that show, but it is my younger brother's favorite show, and he watches it all the time, so he actually sort of got me into it a little bit, and I have started to enjoy it somewhat.
Pretty good.
But recently, he showed me the last episode for the first time, and of course his powerful line came in that last episode. I wish there was a way to know that you were in the good old days before you've actually left them. What an amazing line. Because in life, you never know anything before it actually happens. And of course, there are no guarantees. You never know which memories will be the ones that stick and stand out 5 or even like 10 or 20 years from now. And as one of the camp directors used to say at the camp I worked at for a bunch of years, all we have now are the memories that we made. So unfortunately, no matter how hard I try to stop time, I can't slow down life yet. I can't stop and turn back and control time. But what I can do and what all of us can do is create time and moments for reflection and gratitude. Whenever we're going non-stop, there's no time to appreciate like where we're currently at, and before we know it, that moment has passed us by. And this is why also one of my favorite habits that like I do on a daily basis and like I've been doing for the past 10 years now has been journaling. It's a daily reflection, and the best part is I also look back every so often, and I sort of like get to experience all those amazing memories again. And I also get to see like how far I've come. And also, whenever we add appreciation and gratitude in every moment, we then amplify our enjoyment of it. Now finally, I'm going to be getting into the sports recap news for the week. Let's get to it now. Now for our sports recap of the week. Jackson Dart, rookie quarterback on the Giants, has looked incredible in the preseason so far. And also another QB who looked great in the preseason the other day was Quinn Ewers, rookie out of Texas, who's now in the Dolphins. Shedeur Sanders, as we also looked great in Game 1, but like Game 2 he sat out with an injury. Now for the MLB, the 3 teams who I want to cover today are the Yankees, Mets, and Brewers, as well as some of my favorite pitchers out there. So the Yankees, my favorite team, after rough last month, have finally started to turn some things around. Paul Goldschmidt had a great game the other day, Ben Rice looked great, he had a 7 RBI game a few days ago versus the Cardinals, and David Bednar has looked strong out of the bullpen, and thankfully the Yankees swept the Cardinals. Hopefully the Yankees can hold on to that playoff wildcard spot, The Red Sox have actually had like a complete turnaround this year and have looked great recently, and they currently lead the Yankees by like a game or two in that division. But of course the Blue Jays are in first and like have looked great all year, which leads me into my first good pitcher, Max Scherzer, aka Mad Max, is trying to find his stuff at 41 years old, and he's been looking unhittable like an absolutely nasty in his past few starts. So shout out to Mad Max. Then we have the other New York team, also one of my favorite teams, the New York Mets, who for most of the last month have largely fallen apart, in spite of my take last month, saying that like the Mets won the trade deadline, but like it hasn't looked that way so far. Brian Helsley since coming over has not looked good at all. Ty Rogers hasn't been great either, and the Mets starters haven't been able to go for more than like 4 or 5 innings. However, there are some positives to look forward to in that this new guy, the rookie McLean, in his first start for the team looked incredible and had some nasty curveballs and like so much movement on his pitches. And also like Francisco Lindor started to turn it up recently. Hopefully they're going to be able to hold off the Reds in that NL playoff wildcard race. Justin Verlander, another old timer, had another great start this past week, thankfully. But of course he got no run support once again, which seems to be like the pattern for him on the Giants so far. But he's been like ratcheting it up like to 98 miles per hour at 42 years old, and he had 8 strikeouts the other day too. Charlie Morton, probably my current favorite pitcher, had another really strong outing in his third start with the Tigers. And finally, the Milwaukee Brewers rattled off 14 straight wins before getting taken down by the Reds in late game fashion. Christian Yelich has been great. Collins is probably going to win the NL Rookie of the Year. And their pitchers have been unhittable and like have been fantastic, whether it's Mizurowski, Freddie Peralta, and also Burns, of course. And that team has been one of the many surprise teams from this year, and it'll be very interesting to see if they can carry that momentum into the playoffs. Next up, we had the first round of the Big Three playoffs, which was of course very intense and like a lot of hard-nosed basketball. I honestly can't say enough good things about the Big Three this year. In my opinion, that league just keeps getting better and better, and the people who hated it just like haven't watched it. So in game 1, what I thought was like a surprising victory, in spite of the records of course, Montrezl Harrell's Chicago triplets took down Dwight Howard's LA Riot. Harrell of course was in attack mode from the start. He won the Big Three championship, and he was even getting like his outside shots to fall. Jordan Crawford came out hot and aggressive for the LA Riot, along with Dwight Howard, who was doing it on both ends of the court. But then Dwight's offense started to slow down, and it was Harrell, Chris Allen, Amir Johnson, Brandon Moss, and the Nasir Core in a balanced attack on both ends who were able to weather the storm. Then in game 2, which was actually really close, Michael Beasley's Miami 305, who's actually probably my current favorite Big Three player, knocked off the Dallas Power in a 3-point game. Beasley started off slow, but like once he started to find his rhythm, and he started like getting to a spot in the middle of the court, it was basically game over. His mid-range as always was unstoppable, and then also like Lance Stevenson had a big game of his own, as he had 3 threes, and had 23 points and 11 boards. And for Power, Glenn Rice, one of the leading scorers in the whole Big Three, had 20, and Paul Millsap had a big game too, as did Greg Monroe. But it wasn't enough for the high-powered attack of Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson, and those guys are heading to the finals next week. The finals, in my opinion, are going to be like really exciting, with Beasley going up against Montrezl Harrell. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That's my sports recap for the week, and now to the conclusion, let's go. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. I will catch you guys next time. Stay positive, stay hustling, stay grinding. Let me know your favorite topic from this episode. I will catch you next time. Peace.